the channel. No. Right, fogwood, found on ground. I've chopped a few bits off it before. And I think I've obviously just thrown this to one side at one point thinking, yeah, maybe it'll get burnt. But because of the spalting in this wood, I think it deserves having something done with it, or at least attempted. The main problem I'm going to have is how on earth we're going to chuck this. I want this bit here to be the bottom because I think there could be something nice in this area here. We've got some cracking on here, so we need to keep away from that bit wherever possible. So we need to chuck it initially like that, so I can start turning the bottom bit here. So in order to get this bit onto the lathe, we need to create a flat area for either a worm screw or for a faceplate. So I'm going to quickly grab a chainsaw, start hacking at these bits, and then hopefully we can get it mounted. Okay, that went better than expected. Now we do have some rot in the wood, but we kind of knew that was going to happen with it being spalted. So I've created a nice flat area here. So we're going to try and use a worm screw. So I've just got to make sure I get it going in at the right angle. So it's about there. Right, with this being slightly softer wood, if it looks like it's not going to hold on the worm screw, then I'll put a faceplate on it. Yeah, not going to hold the worm screw. Right, so a faceplate it is. Okay, we're going to use tailstock support at the start. I'm going to sharpen up and we shall begin. Okay, we're all sharpened up. We're fairly well balanced, so I'm going to be starting at about 600 RPM. I have no real preconceptions of what this will end up looking like. I've got a reasonable idea, but that could change at any point. So we'll just start smoothing things out, create a foot, and then we'll take it from there. Put the glove on this hand because some of those chips coming off are hurting a little bit. Let's take a look at this. Okay, I've just started taking up the flattening these ends off because it's quite narrow here as compared to here. So I don't mind a little bit off balance, but not too much. So that's going to be the complete extremity of our bowl. Now we've also got a crack down to about there and stopping. So I think that if we went up any further, then that crack would come more into play. So that's going to be pretty much as high as we're going to turn at the moment on the outside. So what I need to do is to get this surface into a state that we can sand, create a foot and a tenon. The tenon's going to be fun because there's an awful lot of soft wood round there. So with it becoming a little bit flatter here, so we can make more use of this wood, that may be the way. Right, I'll start playing around with the foot. I think that's the first thing important thing to do first, and then we'll figure out the next bit after that. Right, I think this wood is too soft to get a tenon out of, but we should be able to get a recess without too much of a problem. Why I'm saying that is because if the wood sticking out is rotten, when you grab it with the jaws, it'll just tear it off. But if you're expanding the jaws into it, then there's a reasonable amount of wood round it, and hopefully it'll hold a little bit better. And this wood round it does certainly seem structurally okay. So we know what we're going to do with that. It would require taking the tailstock away, and I don't want to quite do that yet. So I'm going to go and get my scraper, sharpen up, and just start working these side to try and clean it up. Because we're turning mostly air here, so you know we're cutting, miss, cut. Because most of the time we're cutting air, a normal bell gouge, when you're pressing against it, it'll cut, and then as soon as that piece goes past, it tends to go forward, which is why you're getting these heavy, big differences in the kind of cut lines. It's smoother here because it's cutting far more wood than it is air. So, and the best way I've found to get rid of this is with a scraper that you can hold a lot flatter on the pillar and cut a lot smoother. Right, anyway, enough of the boring bit. I'll go and get my scraper sharpened. Okay, we're sharpened up with the scraper. Hopefully that'll look better. Far better than it was, but still not quite perfect yet. So we're going to give that a few more goes before we decide to go into sanding. Now, I was going to say, do I want to go all the way up around this corner, but I forgot about that crack there. I could put a bit of CA in there. I'll tell you, I'm going to go around this. Oh dear. No. Shall I? No. Okay, right, we'll leave it as it is. Right, I'm going to carry on going a couple more scrapes at the side here with the scraper and try and get this as good as possible. And then we'll put the mortise in, the recess, and do a bit of sanding. Okay, the rest pretty sure I can get with sanding. Right, so I'm going to take the tailstock away, put the recess in, and then we'll sand. I've put that recess in just a little bit deeper than I would do normally, just so there's plenty of wood and depth to grab onto when I turn this round. Okay, I'm going to start sanding. There's going to be a lot of hand sanding in this for obvious reasons. I'll let you watch the start, then I'll bring you back when it's done. Right, there we go. Whew. That took some doing. The best advice I can give when you're working with a bit of punky wood, or some wood with some softer areas, is really concentrate on the higher grits. You know, your 80 to 120 grit. Do all the work with that. Just keep on sanding and sanding and sanding until all the imperfections have gone. Because you may think, right, okay, I'll get it as I'm going down, it'll disappear. Quite often they don't. It'll always keep those faults. And of course, the higher grit you go, then the less chance you have of getting rid of them. So spend all your time working on the coarser grits, and then when it's as good as you can get it, then move on. Right, do we put a finish on now, or should we wait to the end? I think we wait to the end. Okay, we've got this piece turned round. We've got a fair amount of wood to take away, so we're going to do this carefully and slowly. We're going to work in from the edges towards the centre so we can keep the tailstock support there for as long as possible. I've sharpened up and we shall get started. Okay, that's a pretty good start. We've got a lot of the mass taken away from the edges so we can start picking up the speed now. So we'll just keep on working down a little bit and then in from the edge. And the idea is that we're going to expose this nice curved shape at the bottom. It's going to take a little while, but we're not going to rush it. Just a little bit at a time. Okay, that's pretty good. When I'm turning these areas here, I'm kind of standing a little bit more upright, so I can see the shape of the outside as I'm cutting in, so I can gauge the thickness as I'm making my way towards the centre. It's the easiest and the safest way to turn this kind of style bowl. You don't want to stay completely this side, because if you're too much this side, then you can't see the depth you need to be. So just stand a little bit taller, a little bit more over it, as safety allows, just so you can keep an eye on the back of the bowl to keep the right depth. Okay, I'm stopping here because I need to reposition my tool rest so it's more angled towards the centre of the bowl, because the further the gouge hangs over the edge, the more vibrations you're going to get. So I'm going to be switching between this position and the previous position to take that down and finish off these bits here. Okay, right, take away the tailstock, slowly work down the centre and then finish off the bottom. Right, we haven't got a bad surface, but we do still have those lines that we had before. So I'm going to need to get in with a scraper just to even it up a bit. Okay, I've sharpened up the skew, we're all ready. I'll just keep on going backwards and forwards across this until we can get a nice even surface ready for sanding. I think that'll do us. You're going to have to spend a reasonable amount of time sanding this again, but such is the nature of the wood. But it will be worth it. Right, I'm going to set up for sanding. As ever, I'll let you watch the start, but it's going to be very much the same way as we did the outside. Okay, there we are, we're all sanded up. Spent as long as it needed, which was quite a while. So we'll take it off the lathe now and we'll look at a finish for this. Okay, we're ready to put a finish on. I'm going to use a beeswax and a mineral oil finish we made up for a previous video. This is, it'll help waterproof the wood and it will keep it food safe as well. And put it on quite liberally, let it soak into the wood, then rub it back, and then we'll apply a couple more coats. I'm just using an old cotton towel, a bit of an old shirt to put this on with. Okay, I'm going to give this a little while just to seep into the wood and to dry. Then I'll buff it off and then I shall put on another coat. And when it's done, I shall bring you back and we shall take a look at the finished article. Well, there we are. This is what was hiding inside that piece of wood we found on the ground. I'm so glad I didn't burn it, because I think it'll have a life now and plenty of uses. It's got a food safe finish, so it can be used for fruit or anything like that in a kitchen or on a sideboard, or it could even be used by the front door to put your keys in. There's something unique about spalting in wood that it's just so interesting. You can keep on looking at it and you'll see faces and patterns and all sorts. Size-wise, it's just over 13 inches wide, about just over 3 inches deep. So it's quite a reasonable sized piece. Anyway, if you've liked this video, I would very much appreciate a thumbs up, subscribe, all the usual things. And if you leave a comment as well, then you're going to be entered into a giveaway, which is happening on the 1st of June. So less than a month away. So thank you very much indeed for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.